We looked at the last 5 years and we found that 2004 had been a good year. The production had been 325,000 tons, and the workers had received 21.7 days pay. We agreed that we would take that year out and to have an evaluation on the last 4 years, which had been bad years, and what our demand is in keeping with what had been consistent over those years.
Let me cut you right. 2005 we had the great flood and so on and so
Yes.
forth. So you use 2005 to 2008. What the union is doing, my friends outside of the industry, is they're relying on factual accuracy, factual figures, historical data, going back the average of what the corporation itself gave over the last 4 years, 2005 to 2008. But I'm asking them, as I'm asking you, either President or General Secretary, is it fair to predicate your demands on those 4 years when indeed in 2009 the corporation is pleading, it is saying, prosecuting the case that we had the EU setbacks in terms of what we get for our sugar and all kinds of other problems at Skeldon and so forth and so on. It was a distinctively different year, 2009. So even though your historical data, what was practiced and so on over the 4 years, is fact, is historical record, is it fair, I'm asking, to make those demands given the circumstances, current circumstances of 2009 and at the present time?
2008 for 226,267,000 tons of sugar. The workers were awarded 8 days pay. Last year the production was 233,265,000
But
tons.
you see, the corporation
And the
is...
corporation made a profit last year.
Let's
When
come
you take into consideration their operations.
Let's hold the profit thing there just now. I want a special
Yeah.
question on that. But yes, they paid for 2008 and for 267 tons, 8 days pay. But the circumstances they're claiming for 2008 were a little different, were not as challenging as 2009. That's what they've been saying over the last few months since you had to go to arbitration for wages and salaries.
2008, at the end of that year's operation, there was a loss position of $4 billion.
That's from their records?
Their records, their annual reports,
A loss.
a loss of $4 billion. Last year, there was a profit of $480 million.
Guysuco
Nearly
told you all
$500
that?
million.
You saw documents?
It is now clear, and the Minister of Agriculture, Comrade Robert Prasad, declared,
Right now he's the acting Prime Minister.
acting Prime Minister, declared a few years ago that they broke even. So, even if they broke even,
2009.
2009, it's a vast
Different from
positive
2008 when they
position
had a
to-
loss.
A loss.
That seems a good case
No,
to me.
that's the point.
You have figures, perhaps we can see these figures to justify it. Is this profit you talk
Well,
about?
they must come public. It is a fact that they made a profit. What they claim that they have done, having made a profit, they use the money to do additional tilling and planting work, given the current dry weather. That's understood, and that's okay, accepted. But the point is that they made a profit. And they made a profit although Skeldon is not performing as it should. In fact, Skeldon is not providing positive revenue to the corporation. It is taking out more than it has put in. And this new Skeldon factory should have done what I have said. Provide revenue greater than it takes out for its operation. And this is another matter. In spite of that fact of the Skellen situation, the corporation made a profit last year.
Well, two questions. In terms of the negotiations that have now been